Welcome back to Libertas. This is Tonino Abana with our special guest, Professor Edmond Tayaw. Before the break, I asked Professor Tayaw what his opinion is, what his take is on President Duterte's anti-corruption campaign.
I think little by little, medyo may mga nakikita naman tayo talagang nagiging success stories or examples on the part
I'd
of the
like to commend our host here, Pompey Lavinia.
Yeah.
I mean, Commissioner Lavinia, for exposing the anomalies happening in the SSS, which resulted in the resignation of 2 top officials and also the filing of cases against 4. So congratulations, Pompey. Keep up the good work.
Actually, yan, yung katulad niyang example na yan. Pero kasi again, I'm really convinced it's systemic. Ano? So, ang tendency mo dito, kumbaga, iisa-isahin mo yan, no? In order to actually catch and make examples of corrupt officials. Pero just put it this way, you know, I've been going around different regions recently, no? And for example, ang daming napansin ko na pag inintroduce acting provincial director, so and so, no? Ang dami acting. So lagi kong tinatanong, bakit acting? Ano ba to, temporary appointment? Hindi sir, hinihintay pa yung appointment. Do you know, Tonino, that yung provincial director na posisyon, provincial director lang Malacanang pa nag-a-appoint niyan. My point is, ako nga sa klase ko na composed of 30, maximum of 40, I can barely remember every one of them, no? Every batch. Yung pang i-appoint mo na let's say 3,000, 6,000 personnel. So, kahit na ilalagay mo dyan na based on merit and fitness, whether we like it or not, of course, it will be based also on who you know. So, your tendency really is, you know, it's as if you're so blind in terms of appointing who would be the more qualified person. So, sa madaling sabi, starting from appointment alone, no, if you can address that limitation, you're already addressing the problem of corruption. Kasi ang tendency mo ngayon, kung sino lang talaga yung kilala mo, yun yung i-appoint mo. So, ang trabaho ngayon ng administrasyon, each administration that comes, apart from pushing its own priorities, no, mag-house cleaning ka. And precisely because the system is rather convoluted, no, yung house cleaning mo hindi methodical. Talagang ganyan ang mangyayari. You're dependent on hardworking people like the host, no, Pompey Lavinia and the others, no, to really do a real honest to goodness house cleaning. Otherwise, wala.
Well, I believe that if the President applies the same amount of zeal in his anti-corruption campaign compared with the same amount of zeal in his anti-drug campaign to his anti-corruption campaign, I'm sure there will be a lot of improvement.
Exactly.
So let's read this next texter, 1304. Good evening po. Maganda po ang iyang federal kasi sa barangay structure pa lahat ng association ay walang ma-discriminate dahil sa pagdating IRA. Lahat po na ito ay laan sa budget. Masuportahan po ito at magtutuloy. Taga Mindanao po ako. Salamat. Another, tuloy-tuloy na natin. Maraming text. 9106. Good evening po. Sana po bumalangkas si President Duterte ng isang comprehensive development plan na epektibo sa buong bansa. Kailangan i-consider ang pangangailangan ng lahat ng rehiyon ng bansa. Tayo naman po ay mga Pilipino, kailangan ng maging responsable sa lahat ng ating ginagawa gaya ng pagsunod sa batas, pagbayad ng tamang buwis at magkaisa sa adhikain ng pamahalaan at umangat tayo or ambisyon ng 2040 from Coronadal. Maraming salamat po. Parehong taga Mindanao.
Yun na nga, yung sa barangay, ano, tama yung sinasabi ng texter. Pero, let's be objective. Iba yung barangay, yung konteksto ng pinanggagalingan niya, taga Mindanao siya. Yung barangay doon sa mga area na yon, iba doon sa klase ng barangay meron sa highly urbanized areas, katulad dito sa Maynila. Alam mo, isa yan sa mga kailangang klaruhin, ano? Kasi yung autonomy, hindi naman independence yan, no? At hindi porke binigyan mo ng poder yung isang level of government, it can rival the power that is given to the next level. I'm referring to, for example, no, yung revenue, yung setting up of revenue codes and collecting fees and taxes from citizens. In essentially, there are areas that you have double taxation. No? Iba yung sinisingil ng barangay, iba yung sinisingil ng city o municipality. Magkaiba naman ng authority yung binigay dyan. No? So, pangalawa, katulad ng banggit ko, dito sa highly urbanized areas, magtataka ka, mga industrial areas, may barangay pa. Anong function ni barangay doon sa mga industrial areas na yon? Ano? May homeowners association, may barangay ka pa. Hindi ba pwedeng pag-isahin mo na lang yan? Ano? Doon sa rural areas, kailangan mo talaga yung barangay, no, to deliver, no, basic services, no, to the grassroots. Precisely because, again, the context is different. So, while it is true that the barangays are really useful, no, in bringing down all these services to the ground, you have to calibrate it in such a way that it fits the actual requirements of every locality. And hindi yung dagdag lang sila doon sa existing bureaucracy.
Maganda yung sinabi mo na yan kasi ang rationale really behind it is to rationalize yung political system, the units. It's not for the sake of breaking it up.
Exactly.
And, it has to be rational.
Mahabang usapan yan kasi in fact, no, yung pag sinabi mo kasing basic political unit, it means that you're giving policy powers to that particular unit of government. The barangay became a basic political unit only under the 1987 Constitution. And the basis of which, and the start of it becoming a significant level of government, well, it has always been significant, but it has become rather political starting with the time of the former dictatorship, no? Kasi alam mo naman yung nangyari yung approval ng 1973 Marcos Constitution, no? Through constituent assemblies na essentially barangays ito. So beginning then, yung barangay naging political na siya na unit. Pero before talagang yung usual village type voluntary governance ito, no? Binigyan mo ng political power. So, naiba yung orientation. So, mas maganda kung not necessarily ibalik natin sa dati, but at the very least, i-adapt natin doon sa unique na pangangailangan ng local government unit.
Let's shift to tax reforms kasi that's also one of the things that's being discussed and being proposed right now. The reforming of the income tax. I'm sure something is being discussed in the Senate right now and in Congress.
You know, maganda yung tax reform.
Yes.
No? In fact, it's touted to be among the landmark policy initiatives of the government. But
what is the goal of tax reform? The real goal of tax reform for this administration?
Well, the real goal really is not only to raise additional revenue, but essentially to also create change in the mindset and the consumption behavior of people. No? So you're not only taxing, you're not only imposing additional taxes to the consumption of gasoline, but also to sweetened drinks like soft drinks, for example. So in other words, you're trying to convince people that these are luxury items that need not be given priority. Apart from that, if you don't want to be paying more taxes, then don't consume more.
Right.
No? So it's also
that's the VAT.
That's right. It's also an incentive for you to save. No? So maganda kung sa maganda yan. Pero hindi pwedeng yun lang yung gagawin mo. Sana kasama dito yung reforma within the revenue generating agencies katulad ng BIR.
Yeah, like those the tax scale has been there since I don't know when the tax law was passed. So I mean those income tax brackets are actually the values they have because of inflation. It's not as much as before.
Hindi na realistic.
Kailangan ibaba yung percentage of tax for certain income brackets.
That's right. Well, yun mas madali mo baguhin no?
Why not just have a uniform tax rate for everyone like Hong Kong?
That's one of the options, no? But I'm not sure whether this is one of the main options that were considered. Actually, maganda sana kung uniform na nga lang yung taxation mo so that there's an incentive also for people to go up the social economic ladder. But again, the main issue here really, more than the rates to be set and the amounts to be collected, is the collecting agency itself. No? So, unless you're able to address yung mga pilferage, no, baliwala din ito, no. You're able to raise additional revenue, but only probably a paltry sum, no, compared to what you can really raise if how much increase you could achieve if you're able to address the problem of collection in the country.
Yeah. For example, corporate income tax is one of the highest in the world here in the Philippines. So it's really a disincentive for people to go to graduate from the underground economy to the real economy. So a lot of Filipinos are just moving around in the underground economy. Wala silang incentive, like you said.
I'm not sure whether this is part of the comprehensive tax reform package, no, but at least the most popular that's discussed is precisely additional, excise tax, no, and additional value-added tax, no. But this should be among those to be considered in the for it to be really a comprehensive package.
A more simplified income tax system is going to be better because, you know, I tried reading yung revenue code. It's so complicated and it's so open to different types of interpretation that even if it's written in English, you don't know what language it's
and
really
it doesn't
written in.
follow the political divisions.
Correct.
Iba yung revenue district mo, no? So paano mo imamatch yung revenue collected in what area, no? That supposedly would be the basis of computation of how much share goes to which level of government and so on.
And one thing that we invite foreign investors to come here. They locate in an economic zone where they pay minimal taxes. Whereas the regular Filipino businessman has to pay full taxes. Walang incentive. So there has to be a way to balance that so that the local businessmen will also improve. Hindi yung imbitahin mo dito, they get a tax holiday for 6 years and then they pack up pag naubos na yung tax holiday nila, which is actually happening.
I hope there's going to be a really intensive consultations, no, so that business groups would be consulted in this initiative.
Mabilis na panahon, Professor Taed. I'll give you, we have less than a minute left, so I'll give you your chance to greet whoever or just give your parting words.
Well, first, thank you for this opportunity. Medyo mahaba-haba pang usapan ito. Siguro, let me just say that, time is running out. No? 1 year has passed and, ideally, if we are going to base it from experience, sweeping reforms like federalism, even this comprehensive tax reform initiative of the government, ideally, ginagawa to in the first half of a president's term. If you do it in the second half, medyo iba na yung political atmosphere by then, no? So you don't really expect very significant legislations or initiatives to be passed in the second half. So while we're at it, we discussed details and we have come to so far in terms of really imagining how it's going to look like. I'm not sure whether we're following some kind of a timetable that's firm and able to determine what's going to be achieved in what year at what time.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge here.
Salamat,
Libertas.
salamat po.
To all our televiewers, I hope you were enlightened by this show. Maraming salamat sa lahat and this is Tonino Abana signing off. Thank you.